Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Russ with Joe's Gaming and Electronics, here with another highly requested video. Today I'll be showing you guys how to repair the main board on a Samsung Galaxy SM-R810 watch. So let's begin. So we're going to take the 3-point screwdriver. It's going to be a 2.0 by 25 millimeter screwdriver. It's got to have 3 points on it. 3-point screwdriver. The Phillips screwdriver will not work for this. So should be pretty simple as long as there's no corrosion in the screws. It should be simple to take apart. Just make sure to apply a good amount of pressure so you don't end up stripping the screw or stripping the screwdriver, so it'll just make it a lot easier to take apart. So go ahead and unscrew the screws. They should come right out without a problem. If they do end up getting stuck in there, you'll just pull the back housing out and you'll just push them out, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. Next, we're gonna go ahead and go where they programmed the Samsung watch. We're gonna go ahead and there's gonna be a flap here which you can program the watch, but we're gonna go right next to it. It's the most area to go up and open up the watch and go slightly to the right. It should pop right up open. It's on clips and it is sealed by this adhesive, so don't remove the adhesive. We'll just go right on top of it. It just makes it more and better secure. So there's gonna be a ribbon. There's gonna be a HR ribbon. So we're gonna take this pry tool. It's a plastic pry tool. It's not gonna damage the ribbon. So we're just gonna pry it up, take off the back housing. We're just gonna set it aside since we're just replacing the main board. We're gonna take apart these ribbons here. And then I like to use a flat-headed screwdriver. It's very thin, very small points, very easy to use. I like to go ahead and at the top of the watch, I like to just pry up. There's this nice little area where you can just pry up the watch without a problem. So in this case, don't just pull out the housing with the main board. Actually pull the ribbons back and make sure it comes out, and don't just yank it out because it will end up tearing the screen ribbon, and then you'll have to just get another replacement screen, which it does cost a lot to do that. So we'll set the screen aside. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a Phillips screwdriver. We're gonna remove the board now. Once the screws out, we're gonna take the plastic pry tool and we're just gonna go on the top of the watch, and it should just pop right out. Don't force it if it's not coming out. Just go from another angle and just try to pry it up to make sure it pries up on its own. And now just take apart the power button and the back button, the main board buttons, and you should be able to just take out the board, and the battery is in the housing. Just leave the battery in there. You don't need to take the battery out. Just leave it in the housing. Just set that aside. Next, grab your main board that you're going to be replacing it with. Get the back housing with the housing with the battery. And then just so you'll in the housing you'll see where the buttons are going to need to go. You'll see points there. And then you'll see where the screw needs to go. So you could just clip it back in. It should clip in. If it doesn't want to clip in, don't force it because you can break the board that way. So make sure that it's actually a good fit, and then you can press down. And make sure the buttons go back in. There's adhesive on the back of the buttons which will let it sit. And next we're going to take the Phillips screwdriver, screw the screw back in. Screw back in. And now we're going to take the screen and then make sure the ribbon's bent back a little bit, so then you can easily slide it back in. Make sure before pressing down the actual housing, make sure the buttons are not out, because sometimes they do end up popping out, so you just have to push them back in. But now, since my buttons are sitting there, you could just push the housing back in without a problem. And now you push the screen ribbon back inside, make sure it's secure. I like to test it before I actually glue everything back together, just to make sure the watch is actually working, so I don't take extra steps to remove everything. So we'll just wait for the screen to go back on. Alright, perfect. The board's not locked. Usually that's how it would come up. The board's not locked. That means you can pair it with your phone without an issue. The phone will automatically recognize the watch, and then you'll be able to pair it with your phone. Since we'll do that later, we'll go ahead and power it back off. And before putting it together, let's go ahead and glue it. I put the 704 glue into the B7000 pouch. Just makes it all out easier to work with, but it is a black glue. We find it more, it bonds more, and it doesn't let water inside, and it doesn't just corrode, and it doesn't come out. So this is the glue that we like to use, is the 704 glue, which you can purchase off our website. So we're gonna take the back housing and we're gonna go around with the glue. Don't add too much of it because it will start coming out of the sides, and then you're just gonna have to do a lot of cleanup. I mean, the cleanup is doable, but the least cleanup the better. So put that back in because the glue does dry very fast. So I put the notch back on just to make sure you preserve the glue. So here's the HR ribbon. We're gonna plug the HR ribbon back on. You're gonna see this last point that needs to be plugged in. And then we're gonna just slap it back together. It should clip right in, which it did nicely. We're gonna take the 3-point screwdriver and we're gonna put the 4 screws back in. The nice part about Galaxy watches is the screws hold it down, so you don't need to have anything wrapped around it, not make any type of jig to hold it down for the glue to dry. It's pretty much good to go right after you repair, but I just recommend wiping all the adhesive down. Make sure to just give it a little tight. You don't want slight tug because you don't want to strip the screw, and then that's when water corrosion can occur. Alright, once you're done doing that, the repair is complete. And that is how you replace a main board on a Samsung Galaxy SM-R810 watch. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.